Hello everybody, today I have the pleasure to propose to you this key 56 entitled Time Management. Alright, so like usual, we're gonna split up by 4 parts the different aspect of this key question, which is time management. First, we will define it, okay, then we'll see the reason for being of a good time management and thereby the field of application. Third, we'll see around 15 different techniques to have a good time management, and then we will finish with, let's say, 15 different tips. Well, what is time management concretely? First of all, I just would like to precise because it is something we say commonly, okay, time is money. And to be frank with you, this is just my opinion, my point of view, and my philosophy. I disagree. I completely disagree with this concept because no, time is not money. First, it is a good example here, okay? I could shorten, I could speed up, I could summarize more and to do a short short video of very speed and so on, and like 10 minutes you have the different 30 different tips and so on. Okay, but it's not the point here. It's not necessarily only efficiency. It's not only that. It's also spending time with pleasure, with a kind of entertainment, with a pleasant moment. Okay, so time management is also a good match, a good balance between qualitative life and quantitative life. Okay, so that's why I take time. It's volunteer. It's my positioning in certain way. It's my philosophy. That's not good. That's not bad. It's what I can propose to you. So time is not money at all. Why? Because if I spend time with my kids by fishing or just for spending time in the nature, in the forest, or just to have a good dinner with my friends and so on, I just enjoy it. And I'm not paid for that. And I'm not necessarily obliged to pay for that, to access to that. So time is not only money. Time is not money. I mean, this, of course, is by provocation I say that, because first, it's not only money. So you're not obliged to pay for everything that you do. There is leisure you can do for free when you go to nature and so on. It's free access. Secondly, not everything require money in the sense as a, let's say, return on investments. Okay, so this vision is really efficiency focused, result oriented and so on and so forth. Okay, it's good for certain people, but it's, for me, my vision, it's the future former paradigm. What does it mean? This is the future new vision of the world, okay? Because, yeah, it's first, not everything you have to pay. Secondly, as well, this is really important, with money, you cannot buy any time, okay? So, time without, money without time is useless, okay? So, it's really important when you have this question of disease and so on and so forth. So, keep this in mind. This is a philosophy and also an aspiration. Then you do whatever you want. I like to say in as a, let's say, introduction as well. Sorry. Yeah, introduction. Let's say this is a Tibetan philosophy stating and saying, if you don't manage time, time manage you, or if you don't master time, time master you. What does it mean? It means that a lot of people are like very passive and victim of, let's say, the current, the time current, the flow of the time. But they are kind of victim and they suffer about that. The goal is not necessarily to optimize everything. The goal is just to feel in harmony with the natural flow of life and of time as well. The natural flow of time. That's the point. So, this is the good balance and we're gonna see. So what is it concretely? Time management, 6 elements, but it could be more. First is a question of organization. It is an organization by combining the different parameters for a situation and so on. Okay, it's like, you know, a ding, a conductor for which you have the most important, the most beautiful symphony. Okay, so this is the fruit of coordination for yourself and for other people. Why not only for yourself? Because most of the projects that you have for personal vision, private dimension, and or for professional perspective, most of the time is really rare that there is no interaction with other people. Okay, even if you are an artist, you necessarily need some help, some elements and so on. So there are systematically, even for personal projects, you have let's say, a coordination with people for printing, for if you are an author, you have, I don't know, I say randomly, but it's systematically connected to other people. So it's a good coordination for yourself and for other people. Secondly is the fact to handle some projects, okay, properly, okay, with different actions. Third is to go to the ends, okay? It means that is not only project for projects, but project to make it real, you know? This is the thing. That's why I have a friend of mine, he has a YouTube channel, and he had an interview, he's a French guy, but we did this interview in English. And the title is Dreamer and Doer. A lot of people dream, so they have good projects and so on, but they never end up. Okay, they never go, they never accomplish this project, personal or professional. Okay, so to have to handle, okay, different actions, project and whatever, and also at the end to finish it. Then, very important, is probably the most important thing. Time management is to have the sense of priorities, okay? The sense of priorities is to visualize what is important or not, but it's subjective. What is important for you is not necessarily important for me. What is important and so on, okay? So we will try to visualize what is important, what's your top priority and so on. Very important. And last is the fact not to procrastinate. What does it mean? It means not always postponing, not always deferring, okay, to say, oh, I will do it next month, next year, next life, you see? So that's the point. Then, concretely, purpose, the reason for being, and the field of application of a good time management. Well, it's quite simple, and it is the fact not to be passive and victim of the time flow, but to be active, okay? You manage time. If you don't manage time, time manage you is this. It's not passive, but active, and even further than the proactive. Proactive means that you anticipate. Thanks to your good organization, you can anticipate potential problems instead of always solving problems with corrective actions and so on. Okay, so that's really different. To have a better organization, second point. Third, thereby it's implying the fact to be more efficient, a good efficiency. Then also to the sense of prioritize, optimize is a kind of ergonomy of time, okay? So optimization is to reduce duration for certain action, okay? Because it's not that you become a robot, of course, but you know that you can improve or you can delegate, outsource, and so on. Then, very important is at the end to have a more qualitative life versus exclusive quantitative life, okay? The goal, of course, in this approach, but then you do whatever you want, is depending on your philosophy. This is yours, I don't judge it. The goal of time management is not necessarily at the end to make more money and to work more and so on and so forth. It's not my vision at all, okay? This is to do more things that you like. That's the point, okay? So that's the most important, to allocate more time to do what you like in general. Okay, and at the end, and this is quite obvious, this is to be in harmony, okay, with yourself and thereby with other people, with the environments in general, because if you have a good time management, life is smoother, life is easier, and this is rising up your energy, your vibration, and so on, and you feel more confident, and everything is entangled, interconnected, everything is linked, as we saw before. A good time management is not only for business, it's for private life and so on. This is coaching of life, is managing your life, okay? So even in spirituality, if we think about a new paradigm, a new era and so on, we're gonna be obliged to build it. Okay, new society and so on, structure and so on, organization in general. Even when you are in charity, association and so on to help people, for instance, you're not paid for that. Or a passion, I don't know, association for a sport and so on. You need as well a good time management. When you do a show for kids, for entertainment and so on, for whatever, cultural stuff, exhibition, whatever, you need good time management. It's necessary for everything, and even for private life. Why? Because otherwise it creates a stress, frustration, and so on. So all what we saw previously, because I repeat for those who just integrate this video, this key, we can just watch it, but then they are all linked. So independently we can watch only this one. But this is bouncing back, okay, from what we saw before, because everything, this is a holistic perception, holos, I say always, overall vision, okay, overall methodology. The scope is infinite, okay, it's personal, it's professional, it's artistic, is, let's say, experimental, is psychological, is scientist, it's religious, cultural, spiritual, whatever, okay? It's everything, okay? According to what you want, of course. Well, what about the techniques, okay? We're gonna see 15 techniques and then 15 tips, advice. Okay, before starting, I would like to explain you something, kind of personal experience, because it was a good training. I did some, have equivalent of MBA, okay? And to access to this is a high school, okay, high business school in most prestigious school for business school in France that I did. It was international courses, and you integrate normally 2 years or 3 years after the A level, okay, after you are 21, okay. So I was doing a bachelor in England, and I was doing this preparation. And this preparation, you have 3 activities, general culture, okay, this is more cultural and so on. Then your level test in English, TOEFL, TOEIC and so on, for those who know. And third is, the most important, is the synthesis note or summary note. What is it concretely? Because this is something I did personally. I mean, I was not imposed for that. I just trained myself during 1 year. I was doing this stuff every week, once a week, every Saturday morning, something like this, in the library of the campus in the suburb of London. And it was a bit annoying and so on, but it was really shaping my mind. Why? What is about concretely? Because I use the most difficult one, okay, that's you do for accessing to the best university for politics, okay, it's supposed to be the top, la crème de la crème, as we say in English, the cream of the cream. But mostly, you see, it is to shape your mind. What is it concretely? It's simple. You have 4 hours, the duration of the exam is 4 hours, and you have, let's say, around 30 different articles from newspaper, whatever the topic, and you have to resume and to do a synthesis. Okay, but the problem is that the duration is 4 hours, and if you read all of them, the 30 different articles, you need 6 or 7 hours. So mathematically speaking, it's impossible. But impossible is not English. Okay, so there is a technique for this. You don't read properly, perfectly. You just read in Z, you know, like this. You pick up some elements. You speed up by reading. Okay, so then you have a white paper, blank paper, and you write one key element, not too much, otherwise it's you cannot digest. But one article, and then you have to precise in your summarize what is your source, what is referring to which article, article 1, article 12, article 15, and so on. So you usually we use also colors, huh? Okay, and you start to do a summarize for article 1 that you speed up to reading. You pick up the most important elements. Then you put the key elements like bullet points. Then you do the same for the second one and so on. So normally you do this, you need 2 hours and a half for doing that. Okay, so you speed up for that. After that, you have, let's say, half an hour to cross and to do interaction, to set up some links between the different articles. And thereby, third step, it should be a kind of structure like chapter 1, chapter 2, and so on. Then subset 1, subset 2, and so on. Okay, so why I say that? Because it's really, really interesting. First, it's shaping your mind. Definitely, because it's the gymnastic, it's like stretching that you have for all your life long, and you can coordinating parameters and so on very easily. It's an excellent, let's say, way to manage time with the different parameters, and it's a real holistic perception. I told you many times the problem of the consciousness so far is the fact we split up with disciplines like cells, for which all the disciplines cannot, let's say, bounce. There is no connection most of the time. Even in science, we split up, okay, physics, mechanics, mathematics, and so on. Within physics, you have quantum physics, and so on, and there is no links. Okay, so what is really enriching is the fact to cross. That's why I crossing arts, I cross with science, I cross with spirituality and so on, and our approach is this, is holistic in that sense. I told you I never introduced myself, but I have different activities. If you check on my website, you will see I am CEO of a business company, so it's textile, so we design, we produce, we export. Then I'm teaching, professor for different business school and so on. And then a retreat leader, we have a holistic well-being center and so on. Then I do charity, then I write books and so on. And then I have a lot of other projects. So the thing is, it's not to show off I said that. It's just to try to tell you that all this is a kind of training. Life is an experience. It means that the street life, okay, because this is not what I learned in school. Nobody forced me to do this, huh? But it allowed me, same for when I'm saying I have 2 companies. So, but the fact what I did before business and so on, it was organizational. It's taught me a lot of tools that I learned, I've been taught, I read in books, in my research, I had intuitively and so on the spot, of course. So everything is initiatory. It means everything, life is a training, okay? So this is really important points. So, and the main important message here with this experience is the fact that if you try, this is a beautiful metaphor of life, if you try to do everything perfectly, you read perfectly each article, you fail. And your result is 0, okay, 0%. Most of the time. And 90% of the students, they fail because of that. They try to do excellent. But the goal is you only have to read properly, so-so, okay, average. That's it. And this average brings you to make it, to have a good result. You know, it's kind of paradox, but it's exactly this. Okay, so just for you to understand. Let's see the different techniques. So first, very important is to put, by order, the priorities, okay? With notion of project, whatever, professional or personal, okay? What does it mean? It's to see what's the most important first, top rank, top 10, okay? Of the first one is very, very important. and you do like this, okay? You know, it's the metaphor of the vase. The vase. You have to put, for example, big stones, okay? Then smaller stones, okay? Then third level, you have to put pebbles, okay? Little pebbles like this. Then you have to put some sand, okay? And then you have to put, fifth level, you have to put some water, okay? If you do like this by order, the big stone, the middle stone, the little pebbles, and then the sand, and you finish by water, it's possible you can fulfill it, no problem. But if you do on the other way around, if you start with water and then sand and then pebble, at the end you cannot put all your big stones. What is this metaphor? The big stones are really your priorities. It means that you cannot go home, you cannot go to sleep without finish the week or the month without finishing that. It's not existential, it's compulsory, okay, for you. But for this, you need to know them, you need to identify them, you need to visualize, okay, because what's your priority is not my priority. Your priority is according to your roadmap, according to your objectives, according to your philosophy, okay? That's the point. Then second point is very important to divide, okay, to split up the timeline, okay? Whatever, professional or personal, once again, but in strategy, in politics, in economy, it's always like this. There is a kind of horizon. Horizon is the vision, okay? So short-term, mid-term, long-term. It's always like this in strategy and so on. I told you, in politics or in economy. Short-term is between now and 6 months, okay? Mid-term is in between 6 months and 2 years. And long-term is between 2 years and 5 years. And very long-term is over 5 years, okay, 5 years, 10 years, and so on. If you want to build, I don't know, a factory of recycling and so on, or you want to equip all your country for, I don't know, a certain energy and so on, you cannot do in 1 day or in 1 year and so on. Maybe you need to plan this over 10 years, for example, step by step. Okay, it does make sense, right? So this is what we call, in this split, strategical vision. Then there is a strategic vision. Then there is operational vision. This means that you do exactly the same, short-term, mid-term, long-term, but it's for operations. Operational means it's over a lowest scale. What do I mean thereby? It's, for example, your short term is within 2 days, your mid-term is within this week, and your long term is within this month, okay? So it's not the same scope. It's still short, mid, long term. Okay, so we use that for strategy, management, production, industry, economy, whatever. Okay, but it's important to split up like this, like kind of milestones. Okay, then very important as well is to split between the personal and the professional dimension. Okay, and to try to establish a very thin membrane between both. What do I mean? As Confucius said, Chinese philosophy, choose a work that you like, you will never have to work a single day. What does it mean? Personally, I have a lot of activities, right? I consider it is only playing, enjoying, entertainment. Why? Because I do my patience. Okay, it's a luxury situation, I do agree. But I work out for that, and also it's my philosophy, it's my state of mind, it's my mindset. Sometimes, of course, financial meeting, to be honest with you, it annoys me and so on, but I try to take a pleasure with that. So it's a philosophy, and also I work for that. That's the point. So this is also managing your life, not only time. But what I try to tell you is important to visualize, and also according to your strategy of life. Because some people, they're just focusing on their career, fair enough. Okay, if they like this, that's fair enough. If they consider, okay, I do a focus, I'm hard worker for 5 years, I make money and save money and so on, and then I will have an amazing life, and I can afford to do other things and to reduce and so on, and then to have a family and so on. Up to anybody. Okay, those maybe they don't care at all about the career, they just want time with the family and so on. And then there is also the middle way, the middle path. That's to say, good balance. Okay, I recommend more this one, but then it's just a recommendation. Some people, they don't care about entertainment, they don't care about fashion, they don't care about culture. You cannot force yourself, and that's the point. So very important to visualize this. Then to use different mapping. We're gonna see what is mapping concretely, but mapping is diagram, is roadmap, retro planning. It is let's say IT function that you have. There is app, okay, application and so on. You have many tools that you can find for free and so on, or you do by your own. But it's important just to structure your mind like a framework to visualize, especially visualizing, okay, for your own organization. Then it's important also to, in this notion of arrow of time arrow, is there are some action or a project and so on you cannot do straight away. What do I mean thereby? I'm author, okay? I never write, nobody writes a book in one day, okay? And you write and then, okay? Of course, no. For any type of project, and some of them, they require a bit of time. When I do this keys, okay? There's different keys, okay? Well, it can be the fruits of previous research, conference, course, operational tools I have in my company and so on, whatever, okay. Or from scratch can happen as well. But anyway, I start always with a blank document, okay, Word, okay, but it can be a paper like this. And I start to write. There is no order, no logic, okay, right, like this, just bullet points. Then I just sleep on it. Okay, I do this half an hour and then, okay, I open up my mind. It means my subconscious is still working on it. But I go for a run, I go for a dinner, I go for fun, an exhibition or whatever. I let's say, refresh my mind. I do it again one day after, second day. But at the same time, when I go for running or the day after and so on, sometimes I just, eureka, I find it. Okay, a new idea or something in the synchronicity makes me think about it. I forgot about that, or it's comebacks and so on. Okay, so this is the point, meaning thereby that sometimes it's good to think, to sleep on it, and to come back later, and to split or to do it over a certain period of time several times. This is important to visualize which type. To tell you, washing dishes. You don't need to do it in 3 steps. Of course not. You do it straight away, and it's not really intellectual. You don't need to concentrate completely on it. Of course, you understood. Well, concretely, this is important to define, of course, for everything, define clear objectives, and the time arrow, okay? Starting from the end. This is what we call a retro planning. Retro means in Latin means backwards. Okay, you start from a deadline and you try to split up, and you know all different milestones you have, okay, to do. Okay, so that's important. And by the way, implying very important to always more or less to have a deadline. Okay, why? Because if you don't say, okay, it's finished, this is what we call Parkinson effect. Parkinson effect, yes, like the disease. Parkinson effect is, for example, on the mountain, if you don't stop a vehicle, a car, okay, automatically it will continue. If you never stop, it's like scrolling, and you don't have satiety in a certain extent. You eat, and if you don't have this capacity to have satiety, it means that's when you saturate, you continue. So what I'll give you an example. Mona Lisa from Da Vinci, okay, La Joconde in French, Le Louvre in Paris, okay, this beautiful painting. Da Vinci spent 20 years to draw it. I mean, this is what officially we say, but concretely, the first 6 months, probably, or 1 year maximum, he finished. It was finished. And it was probably extremely beautiful. And then every year, maybe he was adding just a little touch, like this. Oh no, maybe because he was perfectionist. Okay? So, and you know what? The worst thing in it is, after 20 years, it didn't finish. It's because he died. Okay? So, if he would have lived 10 more years or a few decades, it would have lasted even more. Okay, so that's why it's important to say, okay, I'm always putting a deadline, even for my private stuffs, when I write a book. Okay, it's for free. They are all free. Okay, so it's not for money. I don't have an editor. I don't have a broadcasting company and so on. Not at all. I'm completely free. Nobody knows exactly the launching time and so on. I don't indicate it. It's just for me. I just say, okay, let's try. Okay, if I say, okay, 1st of January, I need to finish this. If I finish and I need a few days more, a couple of days more, it's up to me, of course. But at least it allows me to take a final picture, because that's the main problem of certain people. When they handle a project, they never end up. Okay, they never finish. And when they are perfectionists, it's horrible, because you can always improve. If I read all my books, I could spend years and years, and then you never finish, and then you never publish, and then you never share. So most of the time, when you read again and again, you always find something to change or to modify and to improve and so on. Okay, yeah, fair enough. But then, if you never finish, you never make it real, and it's just a dream. That's the point also. Okay, so keep this in mind, is extremely important. Then it's important also to have different perspectives. That's to say, differentiates. Okay, we saw the different timeline, okay, milestones, but also through that, different like chapter, let's say, books, chapters, paragraph, and sentences. What do I mean? Projects, action, task. What does it mean? It means that to identify in your organization, for example, what we're gonna see just after, the different tools like to-do lists. Don't write every single morning advance on, for instance, revolutionary school. Okay, so we are building a new type of school. Okay, I told you maybe. Evolutionary school is a new program and so on. This will open up probably online in 2 years, and officially, physically in a real building in 3 years. Okay, so, but you can imagine that I don't write every single morning, revolutionary school, because it doesn't make anything. Okay, I would say, okay, continue to focus on the draft of this discipline. Okay, because there are 20 disciplines. Okay, in parallel of that, I'm writing a book depicting the school. So for the form and for the content, the form, what is it? The orchestration, the architecture, let's say the lights, how it is, let's say the organization, the display, around, like round table and so on, not linear, all this kind of thing, the ergonomy of thinking, the breaks, the schedule, the different disciplines, what do we teach inside? So there is 20 disciplines, what are the disciplines, and what is the program for all of them? So for example, I'm writing a books to depict that, to explain that, but this is also a fruit of my work. It means it's prepare myself. In parallel, I teach already this program in the orphanage in Bali, okay? So all is linked, but what I try to tell you, that's same if I'm writing a book, most of the time I write different books at the same times. Not to confuse myself, it's just that I like to evolve like this, okay? So, but I will never say, write this title, okay? No, I'm gonna say, okay, finalize this chapter and or eject, I don't know, a new character. You just indicate the profile. I'm always doing when I create a character. I just visualize and so on, an ID, identification card, which I try to give a maximum of a character and so on, the gender and so on, the different elements. So maybe I'm gonna just write this, okay? It should be, once again, I repeat, project and or action and or task. It's like, you know, chapter and then subsets, okay? Subsets. This is important to visualize like this. Then to have different type of mapping. Okay, so I'm gonna show you daily. It's what we call a to-do list, then a weekly schedule, then yearly schedule, and then horizon over 5 years, for example. I just show you as let's say source of inspiration. You do it like this, or you do it on computer, physically on art paper. It's up to you. You adjust or not, it's really up to you. But just for you to visualize, okay? What is it concretely? A to-do list would be something like this. This is things I apply for myself. I always have things like this when I arrive on the morning after my different magic routine, magic morning, as I say in the key 29 or 30. Yeah, I spend 2 or 3 minutes and I write like bullet points what I have in terms of priority. So the priorities I do like this. It means that in red means warning, very, very important. This one, orange is something important but not that urgent. Okay, and green, it's always important, but is not that. I keep in mind. So, of course, I limit to 5. It can be. It should not exceed 10 different projects or tasks. Okay, you only have 24 hours. We all have 24 hours. We all have 7 days, but some people sleep less because their metabolism and so on, and some people are not. I mean, we don't have the same degree of efficiency, okay? So, but anyway, just, we are not superhuman. The goal is not necessarily to make us as a machine, it's just to try to have a certain visibility framework. Personally, I'm visual. I need to see that with colors and so on. Okay, so here, action 1, action 2, these are the different things I have to do today. Okay, here I put the duration. What does it mean? The duration, the forecast, and at the end of the day, I would do, for example, real time. So I write or I have here, okay? Either I do that, either I have in my mind, okay? But globally speaking, and we will see why it's important, the duration, forecast, results. Once again, the goal is not to spend more than 2 minutes for that. Otherwise, if you spend 4 hours for doing a to-do list, let's forget it. It's not, it's counterproductive. Of course, it's obvious. But what I try to tell you, it allows you also to have the satisfaction to do it, you know, to delete. Okay, once it is done, I did it. And then, at the end of the day, this is the small victories, is another technique. Is the small victories, is the fact to see that you advance, that you carry out, you handle, and you evolve. Okay, that's really, really important. The notion also of the duration is the forecast and the results, what does it mean? It means that's two options. Either it's important to value the duration needed, I mean, humanly speaking, in general. Then your skills, maybe you are a bit slow, or you are very efficient and you are quicker. If you outsource, and this is for a friend of yours from the association, someone from your family and so on, or I don't know, an employee and so on, whatever. It's just the fact to value, to know in advance the efficiency of the person, of yourself, and to know more or less. And then the results allows you either to have a corrective action next time if you consider that you can speed up, to say, okay, yeah, it's true that we spend 1 hour for this meeting. We could have reduced to 30 minutes. Next time, we'll try to focus. We'll try to switch off our mobiles to avoid that every single minute someone call or pick up the phone and so on. You see? So either you consider it's the good, this is the proper time you need and you didn't value properly, or you consider there is corrective actions to improve yourself. Once again, the goal is not to be unhuman. It means in my job, for example, we have meeting, we have fun. We have largely fun, and we don't say, oh, we don't have time to have fun. No, we are not robots, okay? Fun, it's a part of the job in general. The fact sometimes, I don't know, sometimes you have hazard. It means the employee want to talk about their personal life, the personal problems and so on. You cannot say, I don't give a shit, and you have your time in your hands. You know what I mean? So, of course, all these techniques, it's just you need to be flexible, of course. Okay, so then a second template, in a certain extent, is a weekly schedule. I explain just the principle. Of course, I fulfill is fiction, it's not the reality, but I studied from 6 o'clock till 11, okay? I indicate here the wake and the routine magic morning, for example, okay? So actually, why this color? Just for you to visualize the principle, okay? The yellow color is for professional life, and the green color is for personal life. Only with this, you can see if it's balanced as you want or not. If you are very focused on career, maybe it's not enough. If you are you just want a good balance, this is perfect. You see? Then let's go further. There are, let's say, light green and or dark green. Okay, the dark green is for private, we say, but what you like. And then light green is for what you like, but kind of routine, okay? One is new and really what you like, and routine is like, I don't know, pick up the kid to school. Okay, you love your kids, but if you need to, I don't know, I say randomly, you're going to supermarket. I don't know, maybe you go every Friday evening at 6 o'clock. Okay, it's a part of the game. It's not super fun. It's not your leisure, maybe not. Some people maybe, but some other they just prefer. So, and you can also squeeze, you can just be delivered if you always take the same, but some people they go and they do shopping, they spend the time. It's up to you. Then it's just to visualize here. Then in yellow it's private, but it's new and the standard same. It's just to visualize. After that, the goal is also to visualize if you have a balanced life. Once again, we are not robots and automats, of course. The goal is also to visualize if you allocate the proper time for everything which is important, and or for people who are important, you kids, your parents, your family in general, your friends, yourself, okay, and or even your partner, before being the mom, she's also your wife, okay, and vice versa. It's the same. So, for example, here I wrote, but it's just fictive, a romantic dinner with my wife, okay. So I have time with my wife. And then there is one, it's a pizza, a football game with my friends, for which I open up my mind, I just have fun, and we're gonna just drink beers and so on. So this is just fictive, but or I have time with my kids and so on. We'll go private moment with this kid and with the other kid and all together, for example. Okay, to have time with all and to visualize. Okay, this is especially for that. Okay, then another way. So daily to-do list, weekly, but you're not obliged to do it. You can just do it once, and normally it's you do it once and then you fulfill at the, let's say, on real time. Okay, so personally the to-do list I need 2 minutes, and this I just need maybe 5 minutes every week. Then this is more for kind of, let's say, a horizon within, I mean, it's yearly. Okay, so I split up, okay, per month here, it's every 2 weeks. So 1st of January till 15th of mid-January, then mid-January to end of January, and so on. Okay, so here I define with action, deadline, and next step. Okay, just to visualize what I have to do within 1 year. And then this is more long-term vision, long vision. Okay, these are the different big stone. Is let's say is mountain, is a megalith. Project 2022, 23, 24, 25, and so on. Okay, so for example, here I could do the revolutionary school would be here online, and then physically would be here, and so on so far. And then maybe some franchise in 2026, 27 or 26, I don't know, just Europe, and then America, and 28, and so on. You see, just it is fictive, it is just a tool. A tool is supposed to help you. It's not a finality. This is what I always explain in management. We have many tools, but everything is structured, linked, and so on in the organization of my company. But I want the people understand why they do that. Not applying for applying, not to make me happy. I don't care at all. I don't care if people fulfill for feeling. If you do that, I will never know. And this is only for you. You adjust according to what you need, of course. Okay? So that's important to visualize the fact that it is just a tool. Then what is important as well is to define when is a meeting with for professional or private, but more for professional on this example, is to define previously an agenda. An agenda, what is it? Okay, today we're gonna spend, and also to split up. Okay, we have 1 hour to discuss about, oh, you send the agenda previously. Okay, like this, people have time to think about it. Okay, so today we're gonna discuss about this point 2, point 3, point 5, like chapter. Okay, we have 5 chapters, and you stick on it. Okay, this agenda, you don't talk about anything else. I mean, some jokes and so on, digression, of course you can, but if someone, because some people are talking to everything and nothing at the end. And I remember in the past when I used to be an employee in big groups, you know, some people love, and to masturbate hours and hours to listen to themselves and so on. And at the end, you just after 3 or 4 hours of meeting, you don't have any concentration. Everybody is sleeping. And then, okay, what's if we have to summarize? What did we find in terms of issue, in terms of inputs and so on? And sometimes not that much. Okay, so efficiency is the fact I define. Okay, we have 1 hour. Okay, so sometimes you recentrate, okay, you concentrate and you say to people, okay, let's come back to the point, and you can say nicely, okay, otherwise we never finish. And then, for example, you take notes. You take notes during the time you're talking, and so I'm always doing that. And you send, for example, the email at the end to make sure that everybody is on the same page. Okay, so it's the same principle when there is a political or whatever debate. Okay. Oh, okay. So you just say, okay, please go ahead. Now it's your turn, and so on and so forth. Okay. Very important as well is the technique to use don't disturb. Don't disturb means, you know, in the principle, especially in the professional word, when there is open space. Okay, you know, it means that you have it's full of 20 different computers and everybody is in front of each other. Okay, but the problem of this is very often is not really efficient. Why? Because people are talking to you every 10 minutes. So that's important if you consider you need it. I'm always saying that to my general manager, to my employees and so on. If you need to stay at home for half day or 1 day because you just want to think strategically speaking because you need creativity and so on, do it. Okay, but I was always asking when I was physically there, just get back to me when you are free. Okay, or I send an email, when you will have time, please come to me, or let's organize a meeting and so on. This is coordination. This is just to avoid that every single minute or every 5 minutes someone asks you something and so on. And so you're concentrating on one task and then, sorry, and then you have to focus about something else to reconnect your mind and so on, and you lose time always. Okay, so the technique of don't disturb is really important. Don't disturb means also a kind of discipline to avoid distraction. Switch off your mobile sometimes. Switch off your notification. Say to yourself, okay, I focus just 1 hour on this. I don't go on news, social media, and so on and so forth. Okay, and I switch off to avoid, you know, the pop-up. Always, oh, I want to see, oh, it's a message. So, you know, it's really important. In the meeting, even in my course with the students, I'm always saying is like, you know, when you enter in a saloon in the past with the gun that you point at the entrance, is the same. I say you switch off. This is horrible when you have a meeting and everybody is every 5 minutes someone the phone is ringing and someone, hey, yeah, sorry, I call you back. Okay, but what the fuck? Why you're not obliged to reply? It's like this is a big problem. When you receive an email, you're not obliged to open up immediately, to read it immediately, and to reply immediately. This is a real pollution and is a source of stress as well. And stress can create dopamine, as we said previously, but can create also the fact that is counterproductive. Okay, you are not efficient at all. Okay. Very important as well to delegate. Okay, if it's for work, it's delegate, outsourcing. For that, a good recruitment, then a good training, and then cross-check. But it's the same actually for if you're in an association with your family and so on. If you have a project, is to choose the good helpers, the hands, and then to explain them properly, and then to cross-check just to make sure it's all right. Okay, but what I try to tell you is, even some personal projects, you need sometimes some helps. So that's important to choose the proper ones, and secondly, to train them or explaining them, and then to check. Then analyzing in general the result. This is what we saw before, to estimating time properly, to know in advance next time if you need to allocate more time, and or to have corrective actions to speed up a little bit because you think you can afford to shorten. This is both sides. I mean, both perspectives. Let's see some tips. Okay, so very important to have a discipline and a self-organization with yourself. What does it mean? It means that all what I try to share with you, it's useless if you don't apply. You know, it's like eating, literally, some books, some culture, and so on. Yeah, that's great. Amazing library in my mind. Okay, but as we say in English, practice makes perfect. Once again, these tools are supposed to help yourself. I mean, to help your life and to make it easier. So try to apply them, of course. Do what you like. Once again, Confucius, Chinese philosophy, choose a work or job that you like. You will never have to work a single day. This is really important to do what you like. You know, when you wake up and you go for, let's say, alimentary job, a bullshit job that you don't like at all. So you just go for salary and you wake up at 6 o'clock and it's difficult, shit, and so on. Okay. And miraculously, when you are on holidays and you have to wake up at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, so earlier, and you wake up, hey, great, we go for, I don't know, trekking or an activity that you like, miraculously you wake up very simply. Okay, so what does it mean? It means if you do things with passion, defining what you like and so on, and you're gonna think, yeah, but not everybody has the luxury. Yes, not everybody has the luxury to choose the job. In that case, you can change, you can be trained, and so on and so far. Okay, so there is no let's say fixed situation. It's a question of investment, commitment, and so on and so forth. Okay, referring to coaching of life, self-coaching, but the self-discipline is really important. Don't procrastinate, don't postpone, don't defer systematically. We have a French expression saying don't put off, don't postpone until tomorrow what you can do today. And this is really important. Why? Because, yeah, it's easier to say, okay, I will do tomorrow. It can happen sometimes. But there is a technique, I don't remember the name, is the fact to do every single morning, I mean, what you can do immediately for half an hour. And then, psychologically speaking, you are in a notion of self-realization, self-accomplishment. Next key that we see next week. Okay? What does it mean? It means that you have small victories. That's really important. And by the way, this is the other tip, is to have small victories. When you have this sensation on your to-do list to delete, I feel good because I feel that I advance, okay? I evolve in my project, my timeline, my milestone, and so on. So psychologically speaking, it's really important. That's what we do for example, soccer, in football, for example, when there is a friendly match, like I don't know, England or Germany or Netherlands versus Liechtenstein or Andorra and so on. But this country is not that they are not good at football. They are just let's say amateur. They are not professional. So obviously Germany win systematically 10-0 and so on. But it's just to have this small victory to be confident for next competition, World Cup, European Cup, and so on. Okay, so psychologically speaking, it's very important to have small victory. Very important as well to have to establish clearly previously deadlines, I say again and again, with mappings, with software, with application, and so on and so forth. Very important as well as an advice, don't hesitate, or even, it's not don't hesitate. Try to be able to say no. Yes. Try to say no. I can't. I cannot. Okay, I don't. I cannot. What does it mean? It means capacity. I'm not able to. I don't have the skills. I don't have the capacity. Okay. Ask me to jump 5 meters, 3 meters. I'm not capable, even if I train all my life. It's not possible for me. Okay. So ask me to, I don't know, in something I don't have the ability. Okay. So don't say yes for the pleasure that people, because you cannot afford, or you don't dare to say, I cannot, I don't have time. You know, this is something very frustrating that I had this experience in Asia. In Asia, especially in China, a lot of people, because of the fact to lose face, they don't like to say, I don't know. You know, like Socrates say, all what I know is that I don't know. So it's a force to say, I don't know. Sorry, it's not that you are ignorant, but if, for example, you run and you're late, and you has you wait to someone. Where is the airport? It's here or here, and the person say to you, because the person doesn't know, yes, this here, and you arrive, and it was there. What the fuck? You arrive, you miss your flight, so it's better the person say, I'm not sure, I'm sorry about that. So ask to someone else, and someone else, it's not, what's the offense? What's the problem to say, I don't know? Okay, so that the point, for example, want another, is if you're not capable to make food, and someone asks you, okay, we're gonna do I don't know, picnic and so on. A dinner brings the dessert and so on, the main dish. Okay, no problem, but you cannot cook and you don't buy anything. And you just arrive and you just recognize, I'm sorry, I didn't dare to tell you. But it's a big problem. You know, it's like when you move out and you say, oh yeah, I will be there, and so on, and finally you're not, because you're completely hangover Sunday morning, for example, and the person organizes accordingly. So, for example, he say to other people, oh, don't come, we're gonna be too much, it's gonna be the mess, and so on. Or, another example, someone is supposed to come to pick you up because he proposed or because you asked, and to pick you up to go to the airport, and so on. And finally, because he has difficulties to wake up, and so on. And finally, you're obliged at the end, at the last minute, to take a taxi for which you would have taken, for example, subway, and so on. It's not helpful, it's not respectful. So you can just say, like this. You can say, honestly, I'm very honored that you asked me, and so on, but it's not that I don't want to help you. I cannot. I don't have time. I have lots of other projects, and I would not like to make you lose time, and so on. So this is honest, respectful, and so on. And this is also professional for those who are talking, if we are talking in the professional way. Okay, so important to say no sometimes. Avoid energy time vampires and or time eaters. Those they don't have necessarily a lot of things, and they let's say they suck your time all the time. It's not that you squeeze the grandma who wants to talk, your neighbor, she just need, she doesn't see anybody, and she just want to talk to you 5-10 minutes. Is not that, of course. But some people in the work, in everything, some people, they just need to justify they have a job, and so on. So they ask you stuff which are not necessarily important. So, for example, can I come to present you my new collection, and so on? I'm downstairs. Do you have a meeting? I have a meeting today. So next collection is in 4 months, for example. We just finished. So please come back later. In 4 months, it will be better. You will have more fresh, let's say, ideas. We will have fresh minds, and so on. It's useless that you come now. Okay, just friendly. It would be nice to just shake hands, and so on. But if you're not obliged. And once again, you cannot handle everything. So is more honest in life. And sometimes people, I contact clients and so on, they say, no, we cannot. We don't want to develop with new prospects. It's fair enough. They replied at least. That's it. Even for a conference and so on, some people, they refuse sometimes. I don't take it personally. The 4 agreements, Toltec Wisdom Collection. All right. Don't hesitate also, very important, to take the lead for this, accepting and not. Okay. And to you prepare stuff when you say, or you can say, even for your clients, you can say, okay, I know you're a very busy person. Nobody will say, no, I don't have anything to do. You give us half an hour and so on, and every time you are just come back, okay? Or on phone and so on. Okay, I need to I have another meeting at this. Or you start like this, the duration, the person knows, and it's not lack of respect. Okay, important as well, the notion of feedback, rephrasing, and so on. You understood? Yes. What did you understand? Sorry. And the person reformulate. No, this, I didn't say that. You misunderstood. Okay, so, or it's not exhaustive. Okay, so ask a feedback means an active feedback is when you ask to someone to reformulate to make sure or either you do and you send a summarize that you type during the meeting and so on, and or you ask people to do for you. Okay, you understood? Okay, fine, perfect. So you send me back a summarize of this meeting and so on. So it's the agenda, and then this is the result to see if we match with the initial agenda, and then to see the issues, the inputs, and so on, what's the improvements and so on, and then the deadline. Okay, corrective actions, then how to implement, and then to make sure, cross-check and so on. So this is really important. Why? Because we are spending and losing and wasting so much time by always solving problems. Okay, to face the problem, to cope with problems. This is the story of my life, in a certain extent, in a production. And how to do? To be proactive, we anticipate. We have a very strict, let's say, process which is not to annoy people, it's just to avoid, it's like when you drive and there is rules, it's to annoy people? No, it's just to avoid accidents. When you communicate like this with people, if we make a mistake, our client won't be happy, will risk to lose money, this is not in the interest of anybody to spend more time, you have to redo, to remake, to reproduce, and so on. So it's really important to reformulate to avoid to go in the wrong direction. Try to use maximum of reminders, human reminders, a friend of yours and so on, my business partners, systematically, mutually, each other. We say, did you think about that? Just to refresh our mind. Or you can have pop-ups, whatever, the app you use. Very important. You can do also, it's not, because I say, Zazen is to do one thing, one task, one by one. Okay. But you can do so crossing, that to say, for example, when you do washing stuff, or personally, when I go for running, I do sport, I change my mind, and I listen some audiobooks or podcasts. And in another language, English, Portuguese, whatever the language, I know different language, like this, it's in another language, it affect another part of my brain, like a gymnastics. And usually, this is for me, I use the speed multiplied by 2. It means it's really speed, okay? It's not for efficiency and so on. It's like a game. I like it actually. It's stimulate my brain and so on. I like it. It allows me to have more information and so on. And also it's a game. It's like relaxing me. For the baby, they sell this kind of thing just for relaxing. It's like people talking like in a market, for example, blah, 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 like buzz. And I remember when I was a kid, going to, for example, a party with my parents and so on, after a certain time, when it's 10 or 11 o'clock, you sleep and so on, and you hear them, and it's so relaxing. And honestly, when I go in normal time, it's like everything is smooth, peaceful, and so on. It's so nice, actually. So it's personal, but you can cross different things like this. It's not to optimize and like to be a robot and like businessman and like this. I have more time to work. No, I have more time for leisure. And also, what we call in Italian far niente, or in Latin, far niente means not doing anything, but it's an art. Okay, dolce vita, an art. It means that. Literally, it's good not to do anything. Sometimes just contemplate. Open up the inner temple. Okay, contemplate. Is this? So it's good sometimes not to do anything. So the goal of this optimization is to be more harmonious qualitatively, not quantitatively. I insist that much, so much. Okay, of course, have a buffer, a room. Like to be punctual, okay? Personally, I'm always arriving in the airports half an hour before. Normally it's 2 hours, but always half an hour, 1 hour before. We never know, hazard, strikes, accident, whatever. At least I'm never stressed. And when I arrive, sometimes when I cross the word 12-hour duration for a flight Shanghai-Paris, you can imagine I don't care about half an hour. I need 2 hours before, 2 hours after, and so on. So I know that from door to door is something like 18 hours. So half an hour more or less, what is it? Nothing. Okay, so it's just to be more peaceful all the time. And half an hour in advance, it's fabulous. I can shop, I can just relax, I can do a meditation, I can read a book, do an audiobook, podcast, whatever, you see? So it's important to have a room and also not to fulfill completely 100% your schedule because you have hazard sometimes, okay? Very important as well. Flexible, it means to reschedule like a GPS. Sometimes, it's the principle when you have a good time management for a conference, 2 hours, and a course. When I do a course with my students, MBA and so on, like 40 hours for a theme or 60 hours and so on. And I finish on time. Why? Because I'm always preparing more and I can squeeze less important thing, or I have case studies to add or to delete. Nobody see anything. It's like my backstage. Same for a conference, an interview online, and so on. If we say at the beginning 1 hour and a half, I stick on it. And then because I squeeze things, and it depends on the interaction with the questions and so on and so forth. But this is this time management actually. Well, last but not least is the fact to take some breaks, short breaks or long breaks. What does it mean? Short breaks is, for example, now there is a technique for this. This is, I don't apply but I just tell you, is to do a short break of 5 minutes every 25 minutes. What does it mean? But actually, personally, I don't apply that. It can be a break of 10 minutes every 20 minutes if I need. But it could be also 15 minutes after 2 hours. I just do a break when I feel it. When my attention, is reduced. That's it. If I feel that, no, I want to continue because I'm not necessarily check time. I'm just on it, and But it's important in general to make a break. If I'm not efficient at all, it's 4:00 p.m. Yeah. Well, that's fair enough. I go for running, I change my mind, I read a book, I do something else. You change your mind. And then long break, what is it? Holidays, vacation, all these things. Those who are, let's say, a modern slave of the work, sometimes they say, oh, no, I don't want, I need to finish this. Okay, but sometimes when you do one day break, 1 week break and so on, then you come back with fresh eyes, fresh mind, and you are much more efficient, much more creative and so on. Well, I invite you to revise, to think about all these techniques, tools and so on. Try to implement all those who vibrate within you. There is no miracle recipe, as you know. This is only miracle adaptation. This is only one key for you to shape your own master key to open up the door that you want. As you know, all the roads lead to Rome and to the dome. Thank you for your attention and see you very soon.